minutes.
5 minutes.
Literally. Oh, we're streaming.
Oh, we are?
Yes. Thank you so much, Jill.
Hey, Jen.
We're good?
Sorry about the cookies, whatever that means.
Hold on.
I'm just starting right here. Chocolate cookies. Oh, she has permission.
Oh, maybe I'll just kind of play it. I'll see if I can get on my phone and make
Can
sure.
you give me permission? I can. Okay.
Or I can record it from here. Alright.
Yes, it is, as soon as we start. Okay. Are we good? All right. It's 6:05, sorry, 6:06, we're sorry that we're a little bit late. For those who are trying to sign in through YouTube, we apologize. Had some technical difficulties. I'm Kevin Bailey, Mayor Pro Tem. The mayor called and his wife have been called back east for a family emergency. So, before we call the meeting to order, I'd just like to have everybody remember them in their thoughts and prayers. So, it's going to be a potentially sad day. So, anyway, with that said, we're called to order this Pleasant View City Council meeting for May 11th, 2021. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance that will be led by myself, and then a prayer reading or expression of thought. And I'll also do that. So all rise. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our kind Heavenly Father, we pause at the beginning of this council meeting and give Thee thanks for the opportunity we have to gather as friends and neighbors of this wonderful community. We're grateful, Heavenly Father, for the opportunity that we have to live here, the beauty that surrounds us, and the kind neighbors that we have, for those who lead us in this city and those who help administer the dealings of the city. We're grateful for them and their dedication and efforts as they try to lead us as a city. We're mindful of those in our community who are in need of a blessing this night and pray that Thou would bless them as Thou seest fit. We appreciate those who serve our community in the armed forces and as well as the police officers and the firemen, and we pray that Thou would protect them, bless them, help them to keep us safe, and Heavenly Father, please bless them to be safe. We love Thee and express our gratitude to Thee for all we've been given. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. All right. The first thing we're going to do here tonight, item number 1, is to present some youth council scholarships. Let me just talk for just a second. I know the mayor would give an eloquent speech here, and he'll be disappointed in me, but two young people that we're going to recognize. Sam Gibby has been the youth council mayor for the past year, and Sydney Palmer has been a youth council representative. Just real quick, I want to thank them both and all the members of the youth council. What an amazing group of kids who dedicated a portion of their time and their lives to help the community. Doesn't happen everywhere, and we really appreciate the dedication and their leadership. They've had to come and report to city council several times during the year. It's been kind of fun, and we get a big kick out of it sometimes and rib them a little bit. For those that have been involved with the youth council and have watched what they do in our community, it's pretty amazing. They're well led. We have somebody in the city staff that really loves the kids and takes good care of them. But it takes people like Sam and Sydney to really lead the kids. And so we really appreciate them. And in honor of that, we're going to present them each with a scholarship tonight, a check from the city, and a scholarship for, I believe it's $500. So if we can take care of that now, I'm sure that Sam is not the guy he is without some really awesome examples in his life. And that's a boy. Shake your head, yes. You admit. But Mom and Dad, congratulations. You have done well. And Sam's an amazing kid with a great sense of leadership and leads by example. And the little bit I've watched him with the youth council has been really amazing. And so congratulations to you, Sam, and your efforts. But kind of mostly to Mom and Dad. And Sydney, same thing with you. You guys are amazing kids. It's just fun to watch you grow and watch you mature. And you're a beautiful young woman who's going to go a long ways. And we just really appreciate the time you spent on the youth council. And does anybody else like to say anything? I don't want to hog the mic, so go ahead if you'd like, and we'll present these.
Yep, there's a whole lot to do that. I came over and watched them do their retreat a few weeks ago, and it was really impressive. And again, these two really let out, had the kids involved, and you could tell that they were looking to you as leaders to jump in and join in. And we appreciate all you've done for the whole year. Thank you so much.
I've had the chance to work with Sydney and Sam on a few, city events, and they're both stellar individuals. They take the charge seriously, go out and step out and lead and help their peers get involved, and they're just positive for us as individuals, and you will go far. Absolutely, I've been very impressed with both of you and all of the youth city council, so keep it up, guys. You're going places.
I don't know Sydney very well, but I know Sam, but I'd just like to congratulate and ditto everything that's been said, and congratulate you on this accomplishment and your help with the city. Thank you.
You know, it's fun to see the youth through the years that take advantage of this, but, I always think that I have common sense and I'm whatever I am, but the youth, this next generation are who's going to lead us. And it's nice to see that we have good kids, and just like Kevin talked about, the families are raising the kids the right way, be respectful and to get involved, and that's who we're going to be looking forward to when I'm an older man and retiring and sitting waving my cane somewhere.
Careful.
It's comforting to know there's good kids there, and we appreciate that. So people are watching you, and they'll continue to watch you through the years of your example, and how you represent yourself, your family, your country, your community, and that's it.
Okay, it's not right for me to just do this by myself, so let's all...
No, you go ahead.
No, come on.
Take a picture.
Picture.
Come on.
I think it's fun.
We'll take your picture.
Sam, give me...
I'll get a picture
Come
with
on.
the council and I'll
See
see
in
you.
the picture.
Sorry, I can see it for you.
Sorry, I should have ironed my shirt.
Okay, one. I'm guessing, Sarah, you'll get that out on social media. Sure, absolutely. Sorry, no. Oh, great. I just ruined everything. Oh, no problem.
Now, if you move that up, nobody will see the line. Right, perfect.
One, two. Sorry, not to.
No, you're fine.
It's taller than your dad.
When do you leave on your mission to France?
July 14th.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm going to come see you in France.
all right.
Can I go, Sarah?
You got it. Where your placement is, okay. In Fairy Park.
We've all been here a long time, the city's never given us a check.
Not happening, no, I'm kidding.
So, yeah, talk about it now.
Oh, that's your, the outside yard grows better.
What are we doing?
Yes,
Open it
that
up?
feels good.
Just a little warm.
I do, so does Ann. Well, yours is
It was a good year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're fine.
I'm in.
No, you're fantastic, Kevin, thanks for filling in last.
Sorry.
No,
We'll do it right now.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm a newbie at this. We need to, before we really start the meeting, we need to have a declaration of conflict of interest. Everybody's had a chance to review the packet, and are there any conflicts? Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to comments and questions for the mayor and council. Does anyone have anything, any of the public? Is there any public questions that we have? Or does anybody in the audience have questions or concerns that they'd like to bring up that are not on the agenda? Okay. Seeing none, then we'll have a youth council report. Sydney, do you have anything? Do you have anything, Sam? Anything going on? How we just gave you all this money now?
Well, I think it was a very successful year. Oh, do I need?
Yes, not mine.
Oh.
being recorded.
Official. It was a really successful year. I think we had a really good group of kids, show out this year. It was really fun to, be on the council and interact with you guys a little bit more. Huge thanks to Allison. I know she's not here, but, we couldn't have done it without her, and, she's as big a part of the city council, city council as anybody, so, super thankful to her and to all you guys. It was an awesome experience. I'm grateful for all the time I've got to spend here, and I'll miss doing this, so thank you guys for everything.
You'll fill it in with other things, I'm sure, Sam. Maybe even more important things.
Did you want to add
Do you have
anything?
anything? Like, this is your last hurrah.
Yeah, pretty much, this year's has just been super great, and I don't know, just ending the year with the retreat was probably the best way to end it. It was so fun, and so many people showed up to that. It was great.
All right, thanks for all you've done, Sydney. Yeah, for those that weren't involved, Allison put on usually the kids go up to Utah State and spend some time up there, and they weren't able to do it this year because of COVID, so, Allison kind of did the same thing, only right here, and it was amazing. It was fun to be here, fun to watch the kids, and, Sam has a little hard time, like, navigating through puzzles and stuff, but he'll be all right, I'm sure. Yeah, he did great. Just kidding. All right, item number 2 on the agenda is discussion of possible action to approve. Oh, sorry. Consent items. I skipped it again. Okay. Yep, has everybody reviewed this consent items? Are there any comments or changes?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent items of April 13th and April 27th.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion by Gibson, second by Marion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, okay. Now, can I go on this second?
Yeah.
Oh, great, okay, keep helping me. Discussion and possible action to approve Omen Estates final subdivision, 4 lots located in a triangular parcel between Pleasant View Drive, 600 and 600 West, and Alberta Drive, parcel 17-059-0118. Jill.
Okay. I am shorter than previous people, so.
Omen Estates, the triangle piece is ready to record. He's done lots of
work already on the property. So in order to record, we have to come before you for the escrow amount, which Derek is on our Zoom, just so you guys are aware, he's here with us. He has completed the application, he's got the plat, and it's all finalized. Dana signed off on it, and it still meets all the fire protection requirements, so the fire marshal, everyone, Tyson, and I, and Dana have all signed off on it. He did turn in the escrow. It is a valid escrow agreement. It is there, ready to go. So that includes any infrastructure that is not done, which, Derek can verify. He's actually done 90% of it. He was just going to do the sidewalk last. I don't know if he's done that quite yet. So that is escrowed along with the warranty period. So that's what's in the escrow, and I did attach the escrow agreement, so hopefully you guys were able to look through it. Apologize, it wasn't sent out on Friday. I was at my conference and I couldn't get it done. But staff has no issues with it, so we are recommending approval of the agreement and the final.
Okay. Questions? Discussion?
Can you remind me what we agreed on as far as maintaining the path, the walking path on the south side?
So instead of having the path, it's gonna be a sidewalk, so it will be there. It's not gonna change, except for instead of asphalt, it'll be a.
It's gonna be a 4 foot or 5 foot.
If I remember correct, it's 5.
That's pretty standard.
That's the standard, and so that's what you would be required to do.
Does that,
I believe it's 6 feet.
6 feet.
Walking path, 6 feet.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
is that, once the sidewalk is completed, then the city maintains the sidewalk, right?
If they haven't, they would just hit it on the way out, like they previously have.
So once the final acceptance is done, so, that's part of the warranty period. In order for us to finally accept any infrastructure, it goes through that warranty period. Once we accept it, then we will take care of anything afterwards. But he does have that punch list. He'll go through that punch list just like any other subdivision to make sure everything's done and up to our standards.
How long does the warranty period usually last?
1 year.
Mayor, can I,
Sure.
it is Derek?
Huh?
It is Derek.
Derek Owen.
Derek, are you gonna leave the path in is it gonna be able to be utilized through the construction process for the residents, as far as the walking paths?
We're gonna try to limit the closure. We're gonna try and limit the closure as much as possible. We can't leave it open the whole time because we do have to pour new concrete there and lift the grade. And so, and then put curb gutter and then the sidewalk in and patch the asphalt. We'll actually have a wider shoulder there. So we're gonna try and limit the amount, but it will be closed for a certain amount of time.
As long as I just don't want it to be a year's worth of closure for that, because that is part of our walking path system, so.
Yeah, currently we're looking at a 2-week, possibly 3-week closure at the most. So with concrete being the way it is, we're going to try and schedule that so that we start and then pour it, right thereafter. So.
Yeah, that means really nothing towards this. I just want to make sure that we have and
we've talked with the city and we don't want to close that because there's really not an alternate route for them to take.
Right.
So.
Mayor, can I ask a question?
Yes.
So Derek, I have 2 questions. One, will you remind me on lot 3 specifically, well, 3 and 4, where will the driveways be on that? Are they going to be on 600 or where do we place those?
So as previously discussed on Alberta Drive, Lot 3, the driveway will be held as far to the west as possible, keeping it as far away from the intersection. And then Lot 4, the same thing. It will be on Pleasant View Drive and held as far to the west as possible, because we don't want to put those driveways anywhere near the intersection, so.
Okay, and then didn't we discuss like no parking around? And is that
Yeah,
in
so-
there at all? I didn't see that.
It-
On the original plat, that will be worded.
It will say that.
I'll verify, but yes, I'm pretty sure it's
And
99% sure.
On Pleasant Drive or on?
on the whole.
On both. Yeah, and I believe the agreement is that we provide the signs and Tyson will install them where he wants, so, but we do cover the cost of the signs.
And
Okay.
lot 1 and 2, the driveways are to Alberta Drive all.
Correct, yeah. We wanted to limit the amount on Pleasant View Drive as we could, and then none on 600.
Perfect. Any other concerns or questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion, Mayor, to approve this, Almond Estates final subdivision. In item number 2.
I'll second the
motion. Okay. Motion by Gibson, second by Marriott. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, item number 3, discussion and possible action to amend consolidated fee schedule to pass on the increased cost of garbage cans, resolution 2021B. Tyson.
This one, basically, during the ordering process, they just informed us that, cost per can goes up to that 104.35, and we've just moved to bring ours up from the 84 to the 104.35 to meet that.
How many do we have in stock right now? What's our, well, I just want 10, 20,
Down to 10 or 15,
Yeah, but
maybe.
new version, so it's the same thing.
I have questions.
Nothing, huh?
For about a week or two,
Already.
maybe. And I think they're 8 to 10 weeks out, give or take, if people break them, or, so there should be enough where they can put a hold on it, because we try to hold on to them, and, those timelines have been increasing every month, even before COVID, so this is the longest it's ever taken to get a new set. So hopefully with more area, we'll start trying to keep a bigger stockpile now, so now all the construction's out of the way, and
What's the most common failure? What's breaking on, and how, what is it? What's causing it? You
in
know?
the form right on the edges of the handles, it's usually from being overweight, and then people push down on them, and so it flexes right there at that, I guess, joint, that 90-degree bend for the handle spring, I'll call it, on the main body, because that's the only unrepairable thing. We have lids, all that, extra wheels, all that we can replace, but it's very rarely any of that.
It's usually that joint.
Yeah, it just splits down the side, and then when they start to roll them, they just keep splitting down the back. Some people opt not to replace their can, and we've seen some pretty neat, solutions to that over the years, and sometimes they get fed up with it, and they bolt sort of panels and smash it together to try to hold it up, but we try to explain to them if try to push the can out at the bottom and pull back instead of pushing down, but it shouldn't do that.
duct tape's always a good fix for
So-
anything.
See lots of duct tape,
There you go.
full barrel, so some people, they find out the price even before, and we've been covering half the cost for quite a few years now, but even then, some find out the cost and don't want it replaced. Extra cans, we don't bill them that, just because you don't know what condition you brought it to them in. So normally they don't get billed for those unless it just looks like they, damaged it, sort of with negligence. Holes, so when they put holes in it, we'll go out and ask them to pay full price for that kind of stuff, but that's not too often, just here and there.
So if they have a second can, do they pay for it, or do we split?
The replacement, we
And those
just
are
have covered it for the extra can.
Oh, for the extra can?
Yeah, because you're not always bringing a brand new one, and so
Okay.
you don't know if it was
I got you.
we look for it like before we take them out, so that'll be a lot of the extra cans when we do the seasonal 6-month swap, where everybody turns them back in. We kind of go through them as you get them and look for any of those tears and just take them out of the rotation.
I'm just curious, has anybody in here had a broken can before?
Yeah.
Have you? Okay, I've been here 20 years.
Put me
and
on that
I've
list.
never had one broken, so I just.
Twice.
Mine's broke. It's sort of like pulling down on the top.
When-
Kind of like, sort of a forcing.
Too heavy to go, yeah. Bring more.
But that, the econo waste that we had, you guys had in the newsletter, though, that's part of the reason why they say don't put all those things in there, because it breaks the dang cans, and they're also their machines.
Every now and again, the ones where that's being dragged, it'll wear that very bottom edge out. And that doesn't come up too much, but that's all the reasons why.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some of the original order, I can't remember how old those are now, but there's some of the original orders still in use, just for people taking care of them. If you follow the rules with them, they'll near last forever.
Mine's 20 years plus old, so it's.
Yes, it's ready.
Yeah.
Do we get them from the same place every time? I mean, we've been doing that for years.
Yeah, they've historically been your only option. There was another company that started trying to offer, sort of a alternative, but even our garbage collection company came out actively against it because they weren't, I guess, meeting the spec for what their trucks do to them. Places that sort of opted to switch to were sort of blowing through them faster than ever, so when that option even came about, we didn't pursue it just based off of that recommendation and everything we heard from them.
I don't want to belabor it, but I think they have no incentive to make a better can if they keep buying them, you know, but I'm wondering if there is a competitor that we could go to, or at least tell these guys, hey, just keep bailing on us, and we're gonna look for a competitor, or, something.
No, we can definitely bring it up to them, and I've never actively hunted them either, just because of that being the Econo Waste recommended can for our collection entity, but I'm more than happy to go look into it.
Maybe we get economists to help us search for a better can, but then
See if they know.
dig it out.
No, I can absolutely look into that.
Mine wasn't caused by total abuse, so I need to get ready to charge them, just saying.
You're just probably gonna get by a car.
Yeah. I had a neighbor, I used to have a neighbor that probably broke it.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we amend the consolidated fee schedule to, pass on these fees as stated in item number 2 of the memo. $100 for replacement and $104.35 for a new garbage can.
Now, there's 3 sections to it, and I left them red. So the first one is, the cost on a building permit, and we've generally just had passed on the full cost. So they're $104.38. Do you want to round them down to just $104, or do you want to throw that 38 cents in there?
So why, section 1,
So section 1, it's a brand-new home, they're gonna pay for the full can, right at the very beginning,
Maybe the whole can.
right at the very
okay,
beginning.
Okay.
So section number 1 will just be $104.
Okay, section 2 is a replacement can. So before we split the cost with the homeowner, so it was $42, and now it would be $52, or do you want to charge them the full cost? It's nice to have them to have some skin in the program here.
The problem is that I see, and I've had this fight with, I think, Debbie before,
You go back and forth.
Well, because if it's an abuse, then I think they should pay the full price.
That's section 3,
Well, but,
yeah.
or replacement, whatever it is. But it's, I don't know, how do you figure that?
We never can figure out if they've abused them.
So at least there's an option on section 3, section 2, just have these if there's like a windstorm, or it's not their fault, or.
But, I just mean.
But number 3,
Just replacement can is always, just for the Swedish kid, have it 104 for everything.
I agree with Steve too. I just think we should pass it along.
pass the whole thing along.
Yeah.
$100 isn't that much, really. Unless, but I would like to give Tyson maybe the ability, you know, if it is a failure or something.
He can tell, though, if it's been neglected.
That you could, you know, have that, but in the fee schedule, that's just it. It's just, let's just say 104 across the board. I don't think we need to charge more.
How about a replacement can when they've actually abused it? Those ones we've actually charged the full price, plus we did a shipping, kind of like a delivery cost.
But it's
Like for our,
I don't care.
so what do you want to do there?
I just say we do 104 across the board.
Everywhere.
1, 2, and 3, that'd be my motion probably. But I would, if there is something that, and you know, maybe if there's just something where I can prove that it's not my fault or something like that, and I don't know where that is, but I'd leave the public works to have that be your.
Could you put that in the language discretion?
I
Could you use their discretion?
But, I mean, I don't want to open up a big can of.
No pun
It's
intended.
just garbage cans.
I say just that 100.
It's gonna be a long night.
We don't talk too much about it.
I don't think we wanna put that on.
No, well, but it is, there is sometimes, and again, I think we had a big fight with Debbie or maybe Heather, I don't know, just when, you know, when it comes to have, if the can's 2 months old and the seam breaks or something, or it gets squished by the truck, you know, I don't wanna pay that money to have that stupid thing replaced.
Or windstorm rips off your lid.
Well, I mean, that's an act of God, but.
Liz, you can-
But if I'm pulling it, you know, that's my fault, I'll pay for it. So I just say, that's what, take out, we won't have to put Tyson or any public works, just 104 across the board. I don't think, I guess, I mean, if you have a delivery fee, but who's gonna keep track of that? You think?
We just bill them. If the guys go out and say, oh, it was burnt down to the ground, it's neglect. And so then we charge the higher fee.
We're gonna take it anyway.
But
These are all true stories.
obvious.
How often does that actually come?
People use them not very often, but when it does, you know, you just hate to pay for it because they used it as a table saw. We've seen lots of those.
But we're not paying for it, I mean, they're
Or the
charging.
can stinks, and so they want a brand new can. And like, it's not damaged.
Then they'll pay $104 for it. They
Okay.
turn that into an extra can and you're good.
Call the neighbor kid, he's climbing and clean it up for you.
I don't know.
So,
Hey, we have a motion. Where to second that?
So can we clarify the motion?
So the motion for section 1, 2, and 3 would be 104, unless we wanted to do 105 and just round it up. Because I don't know how many, what's the cost,
Is the actual cost 100?
104.38, I think.
Is that including shipping to us? I mean,
No, that's just them to,
or do we have shipping on top? What is our actual cost to get it here? I mean, is it?
sorry, apologize, yes, that is shipped here and then we build them out back, which is, I mean.
All right, I'm gonna amend my motion, we're gonna charge $105, rounded up, $105 for, section 1, just a brand new can to the person, a replacement can is $105, and if it's abused, just $105.
Not the fee for abusing it on purpose?
I don't know. I just can't see that they need that many.
I think there needs to be a difference
I do too.
between a replacement can, and I'd be okay with the half the cost,
I would be too.
but we definitely need to go after those that abuse it.
Is it the same people abusing it all the time, or is it just, I mean, because I use mine as sometimes I'll hammer on, you know, whatever.
But it's time for the public works, so people are just, you know.
But how often does that happen? Is it twice a year? Is it 50 times a year?
It's probably, I think 10.
Okay, whatever. Do 125, I really don't care. 125 then. Have it be that way.
On section 3.
Huh?
Section 3.
Section 3, 125.
Yeah, so 125, I get it. Whatever. Change the motion. 105, 125.
I'll second it.
And section 4 take effect.
Motion by Gibson,
Effect immediately.
second by Arrington. This is a roll call vote. Arrington?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Marriott?
Yes.
Yuri?
Yeah.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
That was hard. Dang. With the garbage can.
That was the easiest one.
So Kevin, $105 for you.
Yeah, that's good.
I know, thanks.
Quit breaking your
Go,
can.
go.
By that time.
Time for you.
Come on, 16. All right, discussion and possible action to approve, item 4, sorry. Discussion and possible action to approve a new version of local transportation funding agreement between Weber County and Pleasant View City for Skyline Drive property acquisitions in the amount of $1,382,510. Amy.
Okay, well, I unfortunately am not coming before you with another 1.3 million, but the county in, their consideration of this agreement noticed that it was missing a portion that basically said they were going to be providing us with the funds. So they included that portion in their portion and then also in the updated version for you all before you. So it was just a piece that, had the county action, we didn't notice it wasn't there because, it was kind of buried into the titles and all of that, and, so now it's there. So it's just the same action as before, just with the portion committing the county to provide the funds.
Any questions, discussion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the new version of the local transportation funding agreement between Weber County and Pleasant View in the amount of $1,382,510.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, have a motion by Harrington, second by Yuri, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Garbage cans, couldn't been that easy. All right, item number 6, budget workshop. Sorry, 5. Sorry, thank you. Discussion, put a check mark too soon. Discussion and possible action on a request to go out to bid for a water service transfers and abandonments project. Mr. Jackson.
So these projects will be in the tentative budget in front of you. So just because of the timing and trying to get all this wrapped up before, we're just looking to go out to bid, get the real numbers, and most likely that bidding process will wrap up until budget would be adopted. So, and then I would come back that night and ask to have them approved today after the adopted budget. So this is just strictly to go out to bid. I have the cost estimates broke down. The project has a total cost estimate, 15% contingency, coming in at $390,000. This is we talked about it over the years. Public Works has done intermittent stuff along it, trying to mitigate those costs, knowing it was a larger project. But this will essentially remove your 6 and 4 inch main that's intertwined with a fire flow 8 inch from 1375 west, where we ended, I think, a year ago. We've done a couple intermittently from there to the west end of town. You have that double main, that's where we found those multiple leaks that were just going into the ground and reduced massive pumping times in half just by plugging those. They were all on this line that this project would get rid of. It absolutely plagues every water user along it. They left the services to the residents on the old one. It's just it's an iron pipe main, so they continually have to go out, we flush. We get pictures of, white turned red, hot tubs filled with red water, bathtubs, and it's constantly a nuisance for everyone. Water
How
quality.
long, what's the distance of this project?
I meant to measure it out for what it is.
Block, 2 blocks?
The first one was roughly 2,000 plus feet we got rid of. This one will be longer than that. So you're probably talking 4,000 feet of water main you're getting rid of from pre-70s era water main. Most likely,
Where is it? It's along Pleasant View Drive, or?
It's on the north shoulder of Pleasant View Drive. That dual water main runs the whole length. came by, so, they basically jumpered them together and then buried all the jumpers, so we've extensively hunted down where all those jumpers are over the years, started shutting it down, doing lock.
So what was the purpose of putting two lines along to begin with?
Saves
Just
the money back then.
Increase the capacity, is that?
Well, so they didn't meet the fire
small?
flows, so it was like one of your first, probably a capital facilities plan was to come in and add the 8-inch main with fire hydrants. So that original main didn't have any hydrants, or it didn't meet the fire flow needs for that side of town. Well, the whole frontage of Pleasantview Drive, because the rest of it's coast to coast, it used to be, but some projects earlier in the years, they did, from 9 to 800 once already, and we've taken out some, and 600 got rid of some, so it's slowly been trying to get rid of it. That was the original reason, to meet those, division, fire flow requirements.
So they are both on the shoulder of the road, did you say?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we're not gonna affect our new
I'm gonna tear the road
Pleasantview Drive road.
and then,
No, the only two we know of that are, still galvanized services, and, that you're gonna have to pull services across. We specifically added a note that'll basically say you have any option but trenching across this road, and we've done it, 2-3 times on there, and it's doable, and we'll show them how we did it if they don't think they can. Because the south shoulder's so burdened by, the large, telecom lines, a service gas line, and then a canal. To weave your services through, it's near impossible with like a bore. So you just do a bore pit on the south, bore it across, and then hydro back across all that mess of pipe, and so.
This don't have to hit our new gas line.
What's
This
that?
won't let them hit our new gas line.
Yes, there will be a pothole, because they will make them pothole that, and that's a requirement, because they have to, per their rule, visualize, no matter what way you're doing it, other than pulling, and pulling doesn't normally work, but if they can get that work, great. If not, they'll have to pothole to get the depths for the gas company, and they verify that they see it go past it, and it's X feet above it. But that shouldn't be a problem there, because they dug that main in 2 feet above.
I gotta find the gas line, once they find the gas line, then they're good.
Yeah, watching that,
Again, this is all budgeted stuff in the preliminary budget, right?
Just for the
It's
request
just
to go out to the proposal.
Just something
yeah,
like Tyson put it out.
one part of it was, but it's kind of a combination, and just, it came in way more than, with all the prices, and it's already been too long, but with all the prices that went up, and so you're amending it and approving the other part of the project. Just to go do the one that was budgeted or specifically, and not do the rest of it would just be another one of those, you're gonna pay extra mobile costs, you're doing it right together. So you're kind of doing the end of this budget year's project hopefully with the beginning of next year's, but you're really just starting it all next year.
When do you anticipate being done, or started after July?
Yeah, so as long as the budget's adopted that way and the numbers come in right, most likely you're gonna have a start after
You'll have
July.
these bids back by then, though.
Yes, you'll have all that figured, and so hopefully you have those dates, approximate start dates, and you're not gonna get billed until after July. So we'll be back one more time, and it'll have the full bid sheets, and, because we'll have to do all the formal advertised bidding.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I would like to make a motion to approve the request to go out for bid for water service transfers and abandonment projects.
I will second the motion. Okay, motion by Yuri, second by Mary. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thanks, Tyson. Now we'll have a budget workshop.
Okay, so y'all have the budget in front of you. Some of you have picked it up earlier and probably started perusing it. For your benefit and for whoever's on Zoom's benefit, there's page 2 and 3. I'm actually just going to go through and read that and go through those things with you. It's just a summary of everything in the budget. And then after that, we can go and hit highlights that you want to talk about. And we do have 2 hours scheduled if you want to go that long. So anyways, let's just start at the very beginning. So the budget process. Okay, the proposed operating budget for the fiscal year 2021-2022, as well as the capital improvement plans, which is called the CIPs, are being presented at the first budget workshop tonight. Future budget workshops are planned for May 25th and June 8th. So you got 2 more to go. The tentative budget will be adopted tonight after the budget workshop. The tentative budget becomes the beginning document. It will be used as the beginning point for the future workshops and for the public's view. It can be continually changed until the final adoption. The final budget needs to be adopted before June 30th, but the final or proposed tax levy needs to be adopted before June 22nd. The plan is to have the budget and the tax rate adopted at the June 8th City Council meeting. If the council proposes a tax increase rate different from the certified rate, we will adopt a tentative budget, and that will be the budget that we will use until the adopted budget in August. Okay, this is a budget overview for the general plan and also the enterprise funds. The budget as presented includes normal pre-COVID operating expenditures and activities, with the exception of anticipated higher fuel costs. It does, however, include normal costs increased in services such as insurance, contractual agreements with external police organizations, but nothing out of the norm, except for an increase in building inspection services due to the increase in building. Employees will again be participating in education and travel opportunities. Recreation and Founders Day activities have resumed, and we are anticipating the court will soon be open to the public. The budget includes pay ranges and market adjustments based on the 2021 salary survey. The total market adjustment is $28,681, which is an average about 1.47% increase. The budget also includes the increase of health insurance at 4.9% and a 0% increase in dental insurance. The only really big decrease in our budget will be the phone bills. Now we're just talk about just the general fund. So no, not yet.
No, we're working on it. We're very close.
The general fund, as presented tonight, does not include any property tax increase. The fund balance is $715,027, which is 16.80% of the 25 fund balance limit. The accumulated general fund balance may not exceed the 25% of the total revenues, but we can not go below the 5% either. Building permit revenue was estimated at a conservative level. It is generally considered a one-time money and is transferred to the equipment replacement fund at the end of a fiscal year. The general fund shows a transfer of $50,000 to the building capital improvement fund and $50,000 to the equipment replacement fund. In this prior year that we're talking about, there was a transfer of $100,000 to the building fund and $350,000 transfer to the equipment replacement fund. The general fund budget revenue is slightly conservative with regards to sales tax and building permits. Now we're going to talk about fees and taxes, and these are not included in the budget. So the certified property tax rate. The council over the past 2 years have kept the property tax rate constant at 0.001076. If the council chooses again to keep the rate constant, it will generate approximately $51,000. There is an anticipated sewer utility fee increase. Central Weber Sewer Improvement District is beginning a division of water quality requirement to upgrade their facility. Their estimated cost is
$111 million with $40 million in bonding. Their board approved a 10% service fee for the next 2 years in all the cities. That 10% is based on a formula of 50% population and 50% assessed property values, and we are estimating that our increase will be at 9.2%. So keeping with that, so the proposal is to keep the same dollar basis that we are, so we charge $24.75. Of that, we keep 35% of it, so $8.66 the city's keeping to run our sewer fund. That $16.09 is going to Central Weber Sewer. Since they increased their rates, their percentage is going up from 65% to 72%. So that's going to be another $1.80 that we'll need to maybe make up if you want to keep that same percentage. That would go to them. We'll keep the same percentage to 35, but we'll up the rates to cover the Central Weber Sewer increases. That's a proposal. The garbage and recycling fees, revenue has not come in as expected, and tonnage going to the landfill has increased with more people working from home. The proposal is approximately a $1.10 increase, which is 55% in garbage and a 55-cent increase in recycling. This is a fund where the city does not want to keep or need substantial fund balance. The starting fund balance was $114,000. We took $50,000 and used for that land purchase. And basically, we're going to try to see if we can just at least maintain a $50,000 balance in that account. Then we have a few proposed new job positions, and these are not included in the budget either. The police department is requesting their 12th full-time police officer. The approximate cost for the first year is $129,800, and that is for salaries, benefits, and all the equipment and training for that officer. $109,800 will come from the general fund, and $20,000 will come from the equipment replacement fund. The annual cost for subsequent years is approximately $116,000 plus any pay increases, and eventually new purchases of replacement equipment. And with the approval of the 12th officer, the department will promote an officer to sergeant for their third sergeant position. The second request is the city office is requesting.
Does that include vehicles?
For the
officer, is that right?
Yeah, that includes
That's what the equipment.
a gun, vehicles, equipment, uniform, everything we could think of would be included in that amount.
So each of these requests have how little paper?
Now what?
Each of these requests, I sent.
Where it's coming from.
How little paper?
Yeah, so the city office is requesting a part-time administrative assistant. The approximate cost for the first year is $16,220 for salaries, benefits, and office setup. The first year cost also includes the deletion of the current part-time help of 225 hours, which is about $3,500. So $13,570 will come from the general fund, and $2,650 will come from the equipment replacement fund. And the annual cost for subsequent years will be about $17,000 plus pay increases. The third request is the Public Works is requesting a part-time administrative assistant also. The approximate cost for the first year is $19,745 for the salaries, benefits, and office setups. This will be about $3,420 from the general fund and each of the enterprise funds, which would be the water, sewer, garbage, and storm sewer. And then subsequent years will be $17,000 plus increases. Capital outlay equipment. We're continuing the police department's leased vehicles with the addition of a vehicle for the 11th officer. The Public Works vehicle and equipment replacement program is being worked on. The amounts shown in the budget are only placeholders, and then they may change with the new plan. We have in there a server replacement. We have in there a copier and marquee, but only if they are needed. We have furnace replacements for the City Hall. We have that scheduled over 3 years. We have generator replacements. We have a structural repair to the City Hall's roof here, and the webscape replacement at the Barker Park playground. Then we have a few land acquisitions. We have Little Moe Spring area to expand the protection zone, Alderwell area to expand the protection zone. We have probably a few studies and plans that we're working on. One is we have 3 impact studies. One, we're just finishing up on the storm sewer, and we're going to be starting the sewer update, and then we'll start a brand new roads impact study. And then we also have a transportation master plan along with that technical planning assistant, which is that grant that we received. And then we have the sewer CCAP and SMMP audit. And then we have a list of improvements and constructions. So in the road, so the road projects, we have from 350 West, I don't know if you want me to go through these ones? Okay, yeah, we will go through those ones. And down you have listed the water projects that we have and some sewer projects and some storm sewer projects. And then I put a little note down at the very bottom that the items also in this year's budget, we have changed a few of those items too. So what we would kind of like you to do is just to go through the budget, look through each line item, and just see if you have questions or concerns or any of those items, and we can discuss those and get other information to you guys. But tonight the goal is to adopt a tentative budget, and then the public will have access to it. But then we can just keep changing it as we find things or you guys want to move things around. But I don't know if you guys have any questions tonight.
How far along are we on the water meter replacement? Are we at a third of them?
They're at 500 out of 2,100.
What about the decant facility? What's all included in that? Is that just the building, or is that much more than that?
It'd probably end up with like an outbuilding, and then just because you're going to be out there and probably need to use the restroom, just a basic one. Other than that, it's a covered individual. I think we were looking at some 5-bay ones, but it's concrete. You got to get a sewer main out to it, water main.
This is on the new property that we got, right?
Yes, this is all part of that.
Is there drawings of all that yet, or?
No, so we're still looking at different designs for it and figuring out how big that pond has to be, before we started diving into the details of it.
And we'll need, I think we should do a master plan of what we want out there at some point, not just piecemeal.
I believe so, too.
Yeah, that's what I wondered.
Do you have a design with Dana, or have you?
The design for the
For-
master plan of the area,
I mean, you know,
that we just started on laying out, up at the shop.
because we want to have, I mean, before we do any of that kind of stuff, I think we should have
Yeah, exactly.
some
We saw
layout.
we saw your napkin drawing, and that was great. Gives us an
Yeah.
idea of what was going on, but we can work with Dana and get something on the paper so we have something a little more.
Phase 1, phase 2,
Yeah.
phase 3?
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
For the decant or the area?
That whole area, including the decant?
And I don't even know
No,
what
we're
it is.
master
Because
planning the area now, it's all laid out, and we started trying to put, general sizes, so like, that number comes from a comparable sized one from, I believe it was South Jordan, just to have, figures that mean that, so we've looked at like 5 different ones, they're all completely different, so.
Maybe show
For
us,
planning purposes,
Yeah.
Dustin, I think it'd be a really good idea, because the decant facility itself is maybe the most pressing issue down there, the most needed. You need to have a general plan for that area, and then have her do some more concentrated effort on the decant facility, so we can plan ahead for the funding for that.
like, first phase, yeah.
Absolutely.
Second phase. I had
Okay.
a question
Okay.
about if these proposed new positions were implemented, would that change the need to raise taxes?
Okay, turn to page 42.
She knew that question.
Just wondering.
So let me just address the 3 positions first, because it may have come to a surprise to some of you, but we definitely need an additional police officer. We have heard repeatedly, like every single time we meet, chiefs talked about, our officers being, on single duty, I don't know what to call it. They're alone at night sometimes, and we've got to double up. We've just got, it's the safest way, and it would be terrible if something happened to one of our guys, or gals. So we just want to be sure that that's something that really is needed. Tyson and Amy both need an additional person, really desperately, because the people that are working now, they can't get everything done and do all of the little menial stuff. We just need somebody part-time that can come in and sell dog tags and take care of phone calls and just be the...
Who we've given up, you said there was one
Yeah, there's one.
position that we were doing
The
away with.
part-time.
Oh, no,
Brendan?
Brendan. Yeah, we have about 225 hours just part-time help for somebody to come in, and it's been Brendan coming in, helping with the computers and scanning and
Well,
doing different things, but,
like any public works department, when you call public works department, Tyson's his own secretary, he's his own everything, and he can't be where he needs to
Well, he's a
be.
jack of all trades, there's
Well-
nothing wrong with that.
Except for our city's growing, and it takes him out of important issues and stuff. He needs
I have
to-
every faith in you, Tyson, he can do it.
That's not the point.
Yeah.
I would like to see Tyson do what Tyson does best, and
Yeah.
let somebody answer the phone.
Yes.
That's what I'd like to see.
100%, I agree, and the same with the ladies in the office. All three of these positions are needed, and so I don't know how you would choose one over the other, and so.
Okay,
You know what,
let's go,
42.
let's let Lori talk to us about page 42.
yeah, so this is just a what-if page. So the first part is, if we raise no taxes, your baseline is that 715,000 carryover with a 16.8% carryover. That's baseline, doing nothing. So if you did not raise taxes and you actually approved all three requests, your carryover would go to 588,000 with a 13.82% carryover. And then over off to the right-hand side, I have, the equipment fund and the storm sewer and all those other funds that would be chipping in. And then we broke them out. If you just did the full-time police officer, the balance would be 605,000 with a 14% carryover. If you just did the city office, you would have a 701,000 with a 16.48% carryover. And if you did just the public works, it would be the 711,000 and a 16% carryover. Same thing. So if you raise taxes, there's the same formulas in your balances.
Does that keep us, if we didn't raise taxes, does that keep us within the state's requirements of what we need to have with our carryover?
Yeah, we should not go over 25%, and we should not ever get really close to 5%.
So even without raising taxes and stuff, we could fill these three positions and be just fine.
Mhm. If you turn to the page before, page 41, there's kind of a fast look of other cities on their certified tax rates or their tax levies. You can see that we are right in the center.
What did we realize last year? We had some numbers out there, but what did we, by keeping it, the tax rate the same, what was our rate what was our additional
Amount.
amount that we got, the revenue that we
When
got?
we did the two-con taxation, we tied it to the rate of inflation.
But no, we
just kept it.
Maintained the
rate.
Yeah, this year it's about 51%. I'm sure last year was about 51 too. I can't remember.
So about 51.
Probably about 50,000.
You can find that number for you.
No, that's
Yeah.
What the difference was.
Because we had it estimated,
It's estimated at 51K this year, right?
so that's the same.
So
Probably
that was
pretty
what we
close.
mentioned, right, the 51,000.
You know, and I apologize, it's probably in there somewhere, but we were very light on our estimation of sales tax revenue, but
We did good,
we
but,
did really well, so
Uh-huh.
what's our, do we have,
so this year, it's one of those economies, it's hard to guess.
well,
And
if
so-
you can guess it, you'll be a rich lady.
I know. So I've actually,
But
so
where
this,
did we end up last year? Where are we gonna end up with, because we estimated low, if I'm not mistaken.
You were being very conservative.
so page 4,
Say that again.
page 4.
Or?
Good thing you're here to navigate.
Because that, won't that really be a little bit of a carryover for us? Because our budgets were based on
That's including probably what we're gonna get this year. So I've upped it. So I'm actually guessing a $1.6 million this year, almost 1.7.
What line you on?
Okay,
Yeah.
page 4, line, maybe the 4th or 5th down. The account number is 1031-300, off to the left.
So sales and use taxes,
Mhm.
160.
1.6.
685,000.
And so this year, I put it down to 1.5. So I went back, I did it two ways. I went back to a pre-COVID year and then gave the normal percentage increase that I've seen like the few years before, so 7% increase. But then I took the COVID years and I did a negative 9%, and I kind of came out the same, pretty close to the same number. I was within like 15,000 of each other, so I just kind of averaged those two. But it's just,
Where did you get the 9% from, -9?
you know, I just kept going through like the charts and just kind of start slowing down. It was just jumping up high, and now it's just kind of starting to taper off. It's hard.
So you're saying it's tapering off now, or it was tapering off?
No, yeah, it's starting to slowly taper off now, just to get a little bit, the jumps aren't as high. I don't know if people aren't,
Because you think that it would be going up.
well, people were home buying things at home, and that point of sale was at home. Now if they're out working or someplace else, their point of sale from Amazon or whatever is gonna be someplace else. So it's a weird,
We get a portion of that Amazon sales tax now from the state, don't we?
yeah, you do. But the point of sale, you get more. And they were all home doing it. But now people are out moving around more, and I don't know, so it's just a weird year.
Very challenging.
But
And I don't know if we're gonna hit a stop here,
I personally
you know,
think
big time.
with your projections, and even with adding those 3 positions, we still are very comfortable with what our carryover,
I think we're really comfortable unless the economy just
without
drops.
raising the taxes.
Yeah, but we still want
I
to be,
think-
we
Yes, you
don't
do.
want to be in that hole of the carryover, so I mean,
Right, but it's not that big of a difference,
It does reduce carryover by,
well,
200,000.
but I think I know this is getting crapped for the horse, but there's no reason why we can't just
But-
maintain that.
No, I'm just saying the
rate.
we've been there
And
for a
maintaining
long
the
time.
rate, I mean, just to chime in quickly, and I know, yes, per truth and taxation and state law, it's considered a tax rate increase, but it is a maintenance, to
Yeah.
Steve's point, of that rate, and it does capture that inflationary growth, and otherwise, I mean, you're kind of
We'll be-
lowering, yeah, you're kind of moving backwards if you're not
No,
staying with
and
that.
I wasn't explaining.
No, yeah.
That's part of
Mhm.
a regular like what Leonard mentioned last year, the mayor, of just maintaining
I was-
that.
When I looked back at your budgets and saw that you'd been doing that, I'm like, oh,
We just,
I mean, otherwise you're losing your inflationary.
yeah.
The problem that I have, and if you go to any meeting, you know, they talk about the police department needs to be funded through property tax, and we're nowhere near that. You know, so I don't know at what point we bring that up to a higher level. You know, that's a big thing we need to talk about, because what's our property tax, like 700,000 or something like that? Or
Next year, 845, 855.
and our police budget's what?
They're $1 million something.
1.2 million or something like that?
And that doesn't include all their equipment from the equipment
You know,
fund
so we
either.
are way under, and I remember going to that years ago, and, you know, saying that, so, I mean, we're $400,000 or $300,000 under, just coming out of other budgets than, I don't know, but that's really hard things,
We
you know.
probably, that's a hard thing to
It's a hard thing to do, but I don't know at what point, and that's why, you know, doing this, we're at least maintaining, you know, we're $50,000 isn't a ton, but we're not going to be in the hole, $50,000.
It was a smart thing for us to
Yes,
do, I
it
think
is.
we, you know, when it
I mean, it's,
comes up again, we really need to.
I really like it, I think it's fair.
It's a fair way to.
Absolutely.
Well,
Anyway,
and
sorry, Laura.
it's not these huge jumps here and there, it just keeps it with those.
Right,
small-
stability,
It keeps us
consistency,
even,
right.
we're really not gaining a whole lot, we're
No,
not
when you-
losing a lot.
Yeah,
Exactly,
And that's
exactly.
the tough thing, I
I
don't
agree.
know
I
at
think
what
that's
point,
important.
you never want to be the council that raises taxes, but.
No, but to do what you're talking about, I'm willing to be the council that does that.
Well, but I don't even, I don't know, I think we need to do some other looking, honestly, because. I mean,
Well, and if you want a little bit more analysis, you know, looking at the police department budget with what our property tax values, I mean, we're happy to provide that. I think, you know, that's a fair assessment as well.
It's, you know, I mean, and I agree with Kevin, we need to have a safe police department, and I don't wanna join the rest of the country in cutting the police, because I want more coverage, I want those little snots to know that it cannot come to Pleasantville, you know, but we also have to do roads, I mean, all these other things we have to do, we're always just right so tight. And I don't know.
Well, and that's part of, honestly, and sorry to jump in, but the proposal for these other positions, because with all of the growth our community's experienced, and Jill can speak to this, and Tyson can speak to this, they are completely just constantly bombarded with all of these different requests, and not only that, but with the development that's going in now, Tyson's not only has more roads to maintain, but more roads to snowplow, there's more residents to help, you know, get their trash cans to their damage, whatever's happening, our growth, we're growing outside of that box, and our staff is just very overburdened.
And it's the state mandates too.
Yes.
They tell us we have to do all these things, so it may only take 2 minutes to do it, but 2 minutes, I mean, they just keep adding these things, and if you don't do them, you have to do them.
And other than building, you know, the one-time money that we get from a building lot, or what, it was what's our impact fees for, whatever that number is?
Oh, the building permits?
Yeah, the building permits, and those things associated with building a home is one cost, or fee that we get.
And generally, we just try to get those to the equipment fund,
But we get, so every lot that goes in new, what are we, $200 or $300? That we get?
2,000.
But it's still not at all enough for what.
But that doesn't keep track of the cost that house costs the city, and that's the thing I struggle with. You know, we have, I don't know how many houses we had in 2020. How many new?
Jill, how many?
Ballpark.
We
100?
have, I would probably say.
And I'm sorry, can you use the mic? You can take it back there, and you and Tyson can text it back and forth, but for the
I would say probably 100, 120 at the most.
So if we have 120, we'll probably have the same amount this year or more?
We had 25 building permits for new homes in 1 month.
Okay.
And the same amount that we probably didn't.
And that's not with Rocky Meadows, that's not with Pleasantview Landing,
But it's
that's
just,
not
you know,
with-
that impact on the city is the thing that I think we need to take a quick look at, because for years, we were kind of stagnant, we were just about the same. And this rise, I think this might be an opportunity to adjust ourselves a little bit in something. And I'm not suggesting anything, but as a council, I think we really should look at that and set ourselves up for success in the next 10 years.
One of the things we are missing a little bit, and been working on a benchmark with the City Managers Association, is our road impact fees. We really don't have substantial road impact fees, and that's part of, and I appreciate the questions you had for me about the transportation master plan study that we're going to be doing, and it actually is going to be a very positive thing in my mind, because it will actually help us to know what are our needs. We can put those on a map, and then when development comes in, we can work with the developers on a real figure versus.
I still don't agree with that.
And that's okay. No, and that's no problem.
I think Tyson knows more about our transportation to our city than.
Well, right, and it's working with Tyson, it's working with Dana, but it's putting together a plan so that we can, when a developer comes in, say, hey, this is our plan, so this is the road width or depth or, you know, whatever that is, because right now, we are, with the expansion, with the development, we got really lucky, maybe not lucky is the right word, but we're fortunate because of the way we were prudent with our funds with Rule on White. The county has extended our funding request. With that, we're going to be able to extend out that funding, which is just awesome, phenomenal. But with that, we don't have those current standards in place that really bring in the proper funding, and so the city, I mean, we're kind of stuck holding the bill.
We don't have the
because our plan.
Standards on roads and things?
Well, we do have standards, but this plan will say, okay, so this is industrial, so you have industrial road standards.
We don't have standards for those right now.
No, it's more of like a master plan, just like your.
But we don't have standards for industrial roads, we have standards for.
We have standards, but not where they're at and they're.
Not based on locations and all of that.
Is it just a general standard like for subdivisions, is that what you're talking about? Because
No, we have some general ones for subdivisions, but we don't have any impact fees for that with roads. And no, we've discovered some, and we're working on it, we're working on it.
Well, I mean, all these things, these standards, these things that we've gone through, I
Yeah.
can't imagine we don't have some standards that,
I'm
it's
a little-
surprising to hear that we don't
I'm a
have.
little
I think
bit
you're talking two different parts. So
Okay.
you have roadway standards, but the standard that you're referring to with the impact fees is your road width,
And
and your depth. So like,
We don't have a, I mean, we don't, like a standard for 600, we had we have that go deeper.
yeah,
Thicker.
they built that for.
Built that for the trucks going.
So that was
in.
just
The
for
developer had
isolated.
come in.
So that's not a standard that we have in our city for a truck, a haul road or something?
If the Keenises had decided to develop, and that was the old farm lane, that
We
road
would
would
have had a
only
standard
gone
for that
up
road.
to a standard residential road, I think it's 40 foot wide. If you wanted to build 600 and he was building that subdivision,
Yeah.
you would be paying the extra 20 feet for that upgrade.
Well,
So
You
we
would
have
have
a
paid
standard
the
now
debt.
for a road width of 6 feet.
Yes, but you haven't paid out there.
Sorry.
You haven't paid out there.
Whoa, let's circle back up here
No,
and
that's
talk
just a
about
little bit. Anyway, so.
we're gone down a rabbit hole.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I got us down a road, no pun
Okay.
intended.
Let me just piggyback off something that Councilman Gibson said. Years ago, when I was on the city council, it had been 18 years since there'd been, 18 years since there'd been a tax increase. And I was on that council that had to make a tough decision to raise taxes, and it wasn't fun. And because we had kicked the can down the road so many times, it was really difficult to say, oh, we got a 30% increase in taxes all of a sudden, and that's what it was. So, I think what Steve has said has got some teeth to it, and we really need, as a council, we need to consider it and talk about it from now until.
Yeah, I really do.
It's easier to do it a teeny bit at a time.
Well, even if we do, you say 30%, but that's our share of the property tax, or the property tax, which is very small in comparison, and that's what gets me, and I'll go down the rabbit hole again here for a minute, but I have so many people say, I would pay so much in property tax. And so when they go to the Weaver County School District and complain to them because they get the lion's share, look at Pleasant View's share of that. I think I paid $250 or something like that out of my property tax for Pleasant View. And even if I did 100%, it'd be $500. I mean, I'm not. But 20% or 15% or something like that, I think we need to consider it. And I hate to be the one that bring it up.
No, I
think we've kicked it down the road for a little bit. The last time we really had one was 2 officers ago. We absorbed the last officer.
Well, but we started doing this when Linda proposed it, and we kind of were
Well,
all in agreement with what you were saying.
we've maintained the percentage,
Yeah.
but we haven't raised the percentage to give us really any extra money.
Well, I think that's something worth looking at.
And I think we need to look at that as we're doing this budget
Yeah.
here.
And I've made a note to do some analysis with that and even look at, maybe tying that new position with a potential increase and seeing what that would mean increase-wise, so we can.
And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that we need wish lists here either. This is just, these are standard things. I don't go crazy and have Tyson get a new, 7 new trucks or something like that, but just some real things to operate, to operate the city. And I would like to look at that, so Mayor Pro Tem, I'll shut up.
No, you don't, I really appreciate your comments, Steve. The fact is that we need to be fiscally responsible, yet at the same time, proactive enough that we take care of the needs of the city, and so there's a fine line to walk. Again, just remember, this is a tentative budget, we can still work on it from now until July. It is tentative, but are there any other questions about line items in the budget?
I just had a question about the tax levy, the increase in the tax amount.
Okay.
The estimated tax amount, that comes from the county?
Yes, I don't have numbers yet. They're still working on the property values. Generally, 1st of June, I'll have those numbers and I can get you a good number. So this is just an estimate until probably June 1st, June something. We'll have some solid numbers from the county.
Yeah, I just wondered how they do that, because I mean, it's gonna change more this year probably than it's done in a long time, I would guess.
So we'll see how good my guess was, but,
Just a heads up.
but June, I'll have a real number.
Not that this is associated with us, but it's associated with property tax overall. Lubricating School District is doing a bond survey. They're looking to go out to bond again this next year. So, just letting you know.
How many bonds do they have? They've got 3 or 4.
What they're doing now is as the certain bonds stay, they start anew. So that you'll keep it the same, you know what I mean? And as one fades out, they'll start a new one so that you'll never have a decrease. You'll maintain paying the same amount with interest, you know, for the next forever and ever and ever. Just letting you know. That's not a bad thing per se, but.
So your page 1 and 2, is that pretty much everything that's the biggest?
That's just a
changes?
fast summary, yes.
So there's no other surprises in there?
There shouldn't be. You may just want to go through line items and see if, you know, there's something that, if you see a price that's shocking or whatever, in the wrong year.
Pickleball courts, I don't think those.
Pickleball's not in here.
And there was probably a couple other items that we.
Yeah, in the park fund, let's just turn to that page too. Page 16. So the blue column is this year. So there's a few things that we are finishing up this year. But next year, we have not budgeted anything except for that webscape over here at the Barker Park. And then Allison's, that we get population ramp grant money. So she's using that for the food trucks and activities like that. So we're using those up front. But other than that, we have not budgeted for anything. So our ending balance next year is $164,000.
There is a line item for contributions for pickleball infrastructure.
So I'll chime in quickly on pickleball, and I think I mentioned this to Ann last Friday a little bit, but what we're looking at possibly doing is, we've had a couple of meetings, but putting together a work group and really scoping out what the pickleball proposal is. Then we can look at fundraising, then we can look at applying for ramp grants, then we can look, because right now, everything's just kind of so up in the air, it's really hard to put budgetary dollars to what we want to do, because there's really not specific dollars.
Location and.
Exactly.
How we want to
Should
move forward.
we tie pickleball to some veterans memorial or something?
There you go.
There you go.
And you know, when you go through the budgets, all these CIPs that we have listed, we are trying to list like every project that we can think of. And a lot of them don't have money associated with it because there is none, or they're just too far out there, or we can't pull them off. So there's items there. So if you look at those, there's still a lot of things that we need to do in parks and water and all these different things. So if you even see projects that's not listed, at least give them to us and we can add them to the list and keep them on our minds and as we're going through this.
We have two right there, 2 line items for pickleball
So-
infrastructure for ramp grants and contributions for fundraising and stuff.
So let me just remind everybody, something that happened a couple of years ago. I was in a meeting with some citizens and somebody said, do we have a plan for anything? Is there a plan? And this is our plan, people, right here, right? So we do have a plan. We know what the projects are. We just don't know how we're gonna pay for all of them yet. But, so if you, to Lori's point, if we have things that we know need to be added, or we see things that are missing, let's just talk to her between now and July.
June.
Again, this is way
But
back.
the next meeting, you're gonna have another budget workshop if you have questions or,
Understood.
yeah.
Understood. But this is an ongoing process, so we don't need to, nothing's cast in stone tonight. This is a preliminary budget, so. With that said, I'd entertain a motion.
Well, Laurie, would you mind adding a line item
To adopt the
on,
tentative budget.
16? I would like to put a placeholder in there for some poles along the walking path.
Where?
The lighting poles,
No, just, not unless
Oh.
they're lighting poles, we talked about
for flags
the
and,
flags and things like that along Pleasant View Drive, the walking path, from the barn up to 600, you know, just, and then, you know, that's probably, I'd just like to have a placeholder in there for something like that to talk
Uh-huh.
about it.
Mr. Mayor, for example, I would like to make a motion to adopt the tentative budget for the fiscal year of 2021-2022.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Yuri, second by Harrington. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We had 2 hours budgeted.
I know.
And I'd just like to reach out and thank Laurie. She's been working late and hard to get this together, and it is.
Let the record show there was a bunch of applause.
Okay.
Okay, item number 8 is to set public hearings to consider amending the 2020-2021 fiscal year budget and adopting the 2021-22 fiscal.
And how about June 8th? That's our goal. We could have the budget hearing next time if you would like to, but I think maybe farther down, then we'll have more information. So June 8th
Is that
for both of them,
That'd be fine.
and then that'll be the day we'll adopt it, if adopted, or adopt the certified tax rate or whatever, but June 8th.
Okay, so
Do we
that
need
would
to make a
be,
motion on that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But that's the truth and, money.
that would be the truth and taxation.
That would be like in August, yeah.
Are you doing it?
Yeah, so I'd like to propose that June 8th, we set as a public hearing for the fiscal year budget, adopting that.
And amendments.
Motion by Harrington, second by Marriott. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, June 8th it will be. We need to close the meeting.
Nothing I know of.
Okay, awesome. Right. Okay. Seeing no closed meeting, I would, what's the right word? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Wait, are you gonna do reports or no?
Oh, gosh, dang it, I forgot.
It's on the other side, sorry.
We have the redevelopment agency.
I know, we'll do that in a minute. Okay, reports. Chief.
So I anticipated this being at 9 o'clock,
No,
So, I just put our monthly stats together for you, anticipating a longer budget meeting. So, for the month of April, we had 710 calls that we responded to in the city. 63 traffic citations were issued and 4 arrests were made. And you may have heard of the constitutionalist problem we had at the high school, and that's being dealt with accordingly. Just never,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was well handled, Paul.
yeah, it was very well handled, and hats off to the officers that took care of that.
Great, anything else, Chief?
No, actually not.
Okay.
You got an officer sleeping in the back, I just wanna,
Yeah,
are we paying for him to sleep here, or what?
I'll wake him up.
He came to visit with budget. He
He's
was ready
keeping
for
it
some
safe.
action.
That was my back.
Really? Wow.
Amy?
I don't have anything this evening, thank you.
All right. Jill?
Building has tripled. Our average permit that comes in for a month, I'm up to 58. Just to review, not the ones that are being issued. We have quite a few that just come in that are really quick, and I can issue that minute. So I'm not even counting those. We have a lot of development coming. Hopefully, next month I'll be able to give you guys the updates on a regular basis, once a month,
So
through your emails, but it's been crazy.
do you have 58 building permits to review in a month? So what's the backlog like? If I brought the new building permit in, how long does it take until it gets approved?
Sean is amazing. He's the one that goes and reviews everything. He's averaging, residential, the state requires that we get it done within 14 business days. He's at about 5 to 7.
Wow.
Okay.
And that's just because we're backlogged. Before, when, like, January, when we were not as busy, he was getting it done within 2 to 3 days.
So he does that, then how long does it take you after he does it?
To put the price and everything, and make sure I notify him, just one permit usually takes me about 20 minutes, make sure I get everything, call them, make sure I get someone on the phone, and make sure I have everything. That's it, and that's for a brand new house.
Okay.
Some take some are quicker, some aren't. Commercials do take a little bit more time, just because
That's okay.
they're a lot more.
We'll be glad to see that happen. That's a good problem.
Yes.
Anything else, Jim? Thank you for all you do. Mr. Dyson?
The utilities are spending most of their time either blue staking for subdivision tie-ins or inspecting them. And then they just run their notes in between. The streets, we went out and knocked out all those concrete, the pavers, stamped pavers out on 2700 that turned into ramps over the winter. Got all those out and doubled off. And then streets is, stormwater's just working on cleaning out basins. And we're still waiting for the report on Barker, Park here's leak, so.
Do we need to read more of those where they buckled and stuff? We took the cement out and we've just filled them with gravel or road base or something?
Just road base right now. I'm trying to just add it into all the other concrete we're trying to get, so, because we've been on the hook for that agreement with UDOT that they made, so we'll just cut them out, try to do as small a section as we can that will hold up, so add some, a joint barrier, and hopefully it doesn't keep doing it.
Yeah, it will.
I don't know why it decided this year of all winters to buckle into 2-foot ramps.
Crazy how that happens.
Yeah.
All right, anything else, Tyson?
And then I don't know if anybody's noticed that park out on 89, it's like almost vibrant green.
How's grass?
How so you have a drought, right?
Yeah, luckily we have the pump system off of that, so if anybody asks, that's our spring water tailings that run through the storm water that water that park. So he just barely turned the water in, trying to meet that governor's request, just, or mandate, just like everybody else. And he got, the diffuser, I think that's the wrong word, but it breaks the surface tension of the water, so you don't have to water as long, and how it just runs across your top turf. That's something for these mass, sod areas that a lot of people are trying to keep that water, out standing. So he got that on our worst one, which was Barker and, Shady Lane this week.
Well, it's a great time of year for you guys, and just a shout out to all the guys, be sure they know how much we appreciate them for all the work. So,
Question about the springs, are they all, we're not running any pumps right now? I mean, we definitely are in an exceptional drought, but we're not running anything like that right now, then?
No, so the booster station's still not running, but the wells are all, up and running. There's only one that's sitting off, and that's the one, get out the bid to clean out. So that'll be its first cleaning since installation, and
Which one is that?
Hell's Well.
But this time of year, we're not running any pumps normally, right?
Oh, no, this is one of the worst since being actively watching, for me, the spring data.
Far as
This is
how
one of
low
the
it
worst.
is?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We barely broke into the 300s, but only for like, 2 weeks. And that's with that added spring box that we hooked back up, but, yeah, no.
What's our recovery then in the wells? Are we way behind on that, or are we still okay?
So you're still into that double the recovery from what it was 6 years ago or 7 now, but this will be the second year in a row of a downtick. So, for example, the one static level from 67 years ago, it sits at 113-ish, and we had it up to 120. So, in the last 2 years, we ticked down from 120. Yeah.
Can't get any worse, right?
No, conserve anywhere you can, it all helps.
Okay, thanks, Tyson. Lori?
You know, just one fun thing, Casella is our software, governmental, whatever, website, or I don't know what it is. Cassell, that's what we use. They're doing a calendar this year, so we asked, Sarah if she would do the pictures for it. And if we win, we get $250 back, and so we might be on the calendar of Cassell. And they are not just in Utah, but they're all over. And so we've asked her if she would kind of get some pictures and submit them.
Beautiful pictures. We're planning on winning that $250, so plan on that coming off the budget.
If not, we'll take it out of Sarah's city
Take it
council
out of,
pay.
oh, well, that might be 5 months worth, I don't know.
All right, Councilwoman Harrington, do you have anything?
Yeah, a couple things. Tyson, I was gonna ask you about 700 West. There's where we ran that sewer line. It's sunk. Have you?
Yeah, he's supposed to be coming back, he's tied up on a job in Willard, and he's gonna come and have to dig it all out. It's on his, punch list, so.
Okay, and they'll be responsible for that financially and everything? Okay,
It'll
awesome.
be part of all that warranty, but
Where is
that money
this
has to come
700 West.
sooner than later.
Awesome.
Other ones are sort of when he can.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Then also, I just want to report to the council that the fiber committee is alive and well. We've been meeting every other week for multiple weeks now, probably 5, 6 times. We've been vetting different ideas, different companies, and so we should be prepared. We're hoping to present something to the council in June, so that's what we're shooting for. We still have a couple things to conquer, but it's extremely technical. And so we do have 2 very good committee members from the community that are really helping us navigate through some of that, like, really high-level functioning things. So anyway, we're excited to pull the information together and present it to you here in a couple of weeks. So just want to let you know where we're going with that.
How was your field trip?
Field trip was good.
Long?
Long.
Longer, it's the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it was, but we saw some really impressive things and things that I probably wouldn't have been able to, like, totally understand without just seeing it, so.
Very informative.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Geary?
I'm sure, I don't know if Steve's gonna talk about it, we'll talk about it more at Founder's Day, that there's some, I was talking to the fireworks guy, and kind of some cool things that we're gonna do with, in conjunction with the Veterans Monument and stuff, and we're gearing up for all the food truck events this summer, getting excited for all the events, and let me think of anything else. No, not right now.
Okay.
Just to ditto the and stuff, I really appreciate those that are on our committee. It's been really, really helpful to have some citizens that are very knowledgeable about the process, so it's good.
Actually, can we swing back this real quick?
Hmm?
Can we talk about, you know, that Steve and I and the mayor are working with the Skyline Drive? Can we give any update on that, of what we?
Yeah, I think,
Trying to be careful.
no, yeah, I'm happy to chime in on that. We're trying to see what we can do, with regards to getting the project moving forward. I think there's a lot of different components that we are looking at, a great committee with that as well, and just trying to work and meet with some of the property owners to see where we can collaborate on some of the efforts, and I think there's some good opportunities, and I really appreciate that committee as well. I think we've got some good information on that.
Okay, Councilmember Gibson. Councilman Gibson.
So along with that, just 30 seconds, we really came up with some, I think, out-of-the-box suggestions with the Skyline Drive, and I'm not gonna put those in the public meeting, but, I really think it was a good thing to put forward some stuff, and then, so I think it should, and I talked to the mayor, and some of the things they're thinking about it, definitely, Thursday at 3:30 will be the second to the last Founder's Day meeting. So we'll really kind of start getting some of the specific things. Tyson, hopefully you could be there for that. Because we really need Public Works to be because you guys are huge, you know, in every aspect of it. So, if you for sure be there at 3:30. And, Heather won't be there, but Amy, we've had the agenda is put out, so I've told Heather to kind of put the bullet points that we've talked about on there. She's done a really good job. So if there's something else you need, just look at your section.
And feel free to let me know, I'm happy to help however.
Yeah, so it'll be good. And I just, one note, I talked to Mary yesterday, I think it was yesterday, in North Ogden, you know, they canceled the parade, but there's kind of a Citizens Alliance that's coming together to do their own parade.
Right.
And I mean, we will have Founder's Day, and I want to have it. I want to have full-blown good Founder's Day, and just the heck with all this nonsense, and just have it be just a good Founder's Day. And I'm planning on it. I want it to be here, and the heck with some of the other
I'm
stuff.
feeling pretty confident that we will.
So I didn't get it out to all of you today yet, but, I scanned it in. We got a letter from the health department, and actually they're pulling restrictions back even further than before. The only reference in that to masks was for indoor gatherings. And so I think
No contact tracing, no.
yeah, none of that was included. I'll get that sent out, but, yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to go.
Yeah, no, but I think we're gonna.
But we are gonna have a good Founder's Day, and
Yes.
I think the residents deserve it, and we as a community need it, and we're just gonna go for it, and so.
You guys have a question about mosquito abatement, when are they gonna start spraying?
They've started about 2 weeks ago. The fogging solution is backward. It's never been backward. We have 2 drums that they bought last year, but it's supposed to be here in March, and it's not gonna be here till June. It's just part of this nonsense, COVID,
There's no puddles, so.
Well, no, it is, and that's, we had our board meeting last night, and it is, there's water everywhere. Out west, you know, they're flooding the places up there, that even though the river should be a puddle, you know, by the time it gets out to Warren, it should be nothing. But it's going out into the wetlands and causing all kinds, and those are just those are the ones that come in to here, and so. But the fogging solution for the trucks is that they haven't, it's not in production right now because of some component or something.
Steve, can I ask on that mosquito abatement, do they just kind of have like a route that they spray so often, or is it based on us calling?
You have to call.
You have to call.
No, well, you have to. But Hooper,
It does.
and now this shouldn't be in public, but I should say, but I complained that I said, I want my house done. I'm board chair, I don't want to have a mosquito in my yard, okay? But, you know, I have 1 or 2 if I go outside, and so then I complain about that. But you go to Hooper, and you can, you know, and you kill hundreds of mosquitoes. So they take care of, you know, the big stuff on a route. But if you have a spray request, and you're welcome to call, put that spray request in for your house. If you have a party, if you have some outdoor something, or if you're being bothered, you call.
Yeah, they do, they're really good. I've called them before, and they come like the next day.
Well, they're within 2 days.
Oh, they came the next day.
When you call them, but you do have to put in a spray. They don't just go up and down. I put a spray request in for Founder's Day, so they'll do all the parks, they'll do.
Okay.
You know, 3 weeks before, every week.
Well, but we really don't have it as bad as some, and I have to admit that, but yeah, please, they will come, and we pay taxes for the mosquito abatement just like everybody else, so we deserve it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anything else, Steve?
Is that enough?
I just want to be sure.
You're doing a great job, by the way.
It's my turn now.
Chief wants back in.
That's right.
No, tomorrow, the police department is sponsoring it'll be a webinar that'll be held in here. It's, active shooter in the workplace training, informative webinar video. And it's between 10 and 12, so I reached out to all the daytime employees and department heads, if any of their employees want to attend, or in the city council. Heaven forbid we have such an issue in the city, but we do, this will be an informative information. Between 10 and 12.
Here,
Who's putting that on?
No, it's actually one that was online through, the police association. And, so we're just gonna, we signed up for the webinar training.
So it's via like Zoom or whatever? Okay.
Do you know if it'll be recorded, Chief, so we could send it out for those that aren't able to attend? Sorry, I'm asking a hard question.
Oh, it is recorded already.
Oh, it's already pre-recorded?
It's like any webinar, I don't know. I think we present it unless we record it, but it's,
I'll bet it is, if it's like the trainings online stuff.
No, it's not live, so.
Yeah, maybe we could request a copy to send out. I'm happy to help do that,
Yeah,
but,
I'm trying that word, but yeah, we'd be glad to do that.
yeah,
That'd be awesome.
yeah.
So we'll be between 10 and 12 tomorrow here, and I think just be good information, heaven forbid we ever need it.
And then just as another note, really, really quick, Mayor Pro Tem, we are doing our open enrollment tomorrow for employees with benefits, so that, we're gonna have a busy day tomorrow.
Is it only tomorrow?
I think it is only tomorrow.
But they have the information so they can choose, like, over the past?
No, but then they have a month. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just-
no, it's tomorrow's the beginning. I'm sorry, no, yeah, thank you.
I was like, wow, I guess the decision.
We're not messing around. It's all Laurie.
Don't have time.
Better decide quick, no.
Just a couple things. Again, please remember the mayor and his family, your thoughts and prayers. From my side of things, just want to...
Kevin, is it, I mean, is it a, and I don't want to get too personal, but is it a
Charlene's
short
father.
thing? I mean, is it,
Yeah, we don't know exactly, but
it's not,
they were gonna drive out and they
it's,
got a
I think,
phone call and said, get on it.
So it's Minnesota or Michigan that they flew to, right? Wait, I think
Yeah,
she
it's up
said
by the Great
Michigan,
Lakes somewhere.
Michigan.
I don't know where.
please, when you talk to him, let him
I
know
will.
what you're thinking.
Yeah, I'll talk to him tonight, I'm sure.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's hard. Anybody that's lost a loved one, we feel their pain, huh? All right, from my side of things, just a quick update. I don't have a lot, but just a quick update on the Veterans Memorial. Since we sent the letters out that we all sat here and signed forever, had some pretty good response. I think it's just been amazing. I've probably sported, I don't know, a half dozen phone calls from doctor's offices or dentist offices wanting to give $1,000. One of them was a doctor's office that said, the doctor will match whatever we collect, and we plan on giving you $1,000. That's $2,000 from just a single place.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty amazing how people are stepping up, and it's kind of slower than I thought maybe, but there's a lot of people still waiting for meetings and kind of waiting to present, so,
What do we have,
really
what do we
good
have so
progress.
far? Do you have any totals? No?
I don't know, we haven't really talked about it, we haven't had a meeting for a little while, but when we have one, we'll report it, so.
That's quite.
Yeah, I can get that information out, because I have a running spreadsheet, but I haven't added the latest. And we will be having, and not to toot your horn, Kevin, but
Toot it.
we're gonna be having a video series going out, and Kevin's gonna be doing part of that, and so we're gonna be pushing that out really hard on social media, just to kind of talk about the purpose of the Veterans Monument, why we're doing this, what, you know, and then they're gonna be doing some interviews with veterans, kind of.
He's gonna be the voice of the
He's
faith.
gonna start it out
I
tomorrow,
know.
4:30, here at the office.
Is that the best idea we've got?
My wife told me to start, not me.
No, that's the better idea.
Wait until you see these videos though, it will be awesome, it will tug at your heart, and everybody will think it's great and well done.
I think it's great.
So cool.
You're doing
So
a great
cool.
job, thank you.
Anyway, that's, kind of.
And he found somebody to fix the clock.
Yeah, we did find
Did
someone to
you
fix the
found
clock.
a clockster?
It's one of those
What was the?
heaven-sent things. I will spare you the story, but a guy came to my house from Green River, Wyoming.
What?
And a conversation came up about the Veterans Memorial, and it switched to the clock, and he says, oh, that's what I do for a living, is fix clocks.
Cool.
And he can buy new movements for it, he wants to put LED lights in it, he wants to synchronize all 4 clocks so they run off of the same thing your cell phone does, so
Like
they'll never be wrong. When daylight saving time, it'll just switch, go an hour ahead. Like, the guy's amazing, and he said, I don't know if you can afford it or not, and I was like, what do you mean? He says, it's probably gonna cost you $400 a clock. I'm like, I'll pay that, I don't know.
That's,
Pretty amazing.
That's exciting.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, so, super good
So he didn't
contact.
come with the idea of doing the clock, that just happened?
It just happened, and.
Kevin has people fall in his lap. We've got like 50, you're gonna have to write all these stories down.
Totally should.
Well, maybe you are, maybe you really should be the face of it.
Seriously,
Maybe
all
it
the,
is.
all the little miracles.
Really, it's so cool.
I have a grocery store, so if I get choked up tomorrow, then I would probably.
You're gonna be a grand opening at the grocery store?
I would cry at a grand opening of the grocery store.
I cried
All right.
at here.
Okay, is there anything else that I've missed?
No.
Okay.
We did find out that we could get.
Yeah, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Big screen monitor stuff that we could do for that.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that.
I'd like to make a motion. We just, there's that thing.
I was motion to adjourn. Motion by Arrington, second by Gibson, sorry.
That guy down on the end.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
This is really cool.
That was kind of hard.
This is the shortest budget meeting I have ever been in.
I like it.
Well, Larry, seriously, take the credit for that.
Wow.
Because holy heck.
We've been here till 11 o'clock at night sometimes.
Well, there's
Well,
two more to go.
Yeah,
Oh, but I don't see it going real long.
Don't give them any ideas.
It's supposed to end at 9:30.
Oh, shoot,
All
we're
right.
not.
Let's call to order.
Oh, we still have that, that's right.
Let's call to order Pleasant View City Redevelopment Agency for May 11th, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda, we're gonna.
Do you want to do a motion to go in?
The consent items, the minutes for January 26th, 2021.
Mayor, I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes of January 26th.
Okay,
I'll second the motion.
motion by Gibson, second by Harriet. Any discussion, any changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 1, business is budget workshop.
You know, in your packet, the RDA stuff is actually on page 33 and 34.
Laura, while they're looking at it, you know, in the business, did we extend the EDA for 2 additional years? Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, we did. So it would have expired this year, but it goes till the end of 2023. So,
What page were we going to?
33 and 34. So basically, next year, we really haven't budgeted any improvements or expenditures, and what we're going to do is, we budgeted everything this year on the Ruland-wide extension and that Simon Go, and maybe a little bit on Wasatch View, that road. So everything's in this budget, just depending on how fast they build out there. Whatever, July 1st, we'll move the balance over to the next year.
Okay.
So it's just all there, and then just, those are the only projects, we'll just move it forward. That page 34, that kind of gives you a breakdown of the balance of how much money we have sitting different places. So the third half of it, it shows, you know, we're getting this property tax increment, and we have to keep 20% of it goes to housing, and we can only spend it on housing. So next year, or let's just even do this year, so the middle column, so we have $762,000 sitting in just housing that we can use somehow, or we have to give it to Orlean Walker Foundation or something. But that money has to be used for housing.
We are gonna be further delving into and exploring what options we have with that, so.
What options do you have with housing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Laurie and I talked about that. We're gonna do a little bit of research to give you all some options, and maybe there's some proactivity we can pursue, so.
There will maybe some proposals from commercial companies or something that involve
Right.
our participation in the future that we don't know of yet, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We just
That
want to vet it out so we have it clear and then we can.
700K is nothing when it comes to,
A little stub on the road by a Shell gas station.
it could be.
Yeah.
And besides the grant money that we received, down at the bottom, middle column, there's like $836,000. That's money that the RDA owns from property taxes that we can use for projects too in that area. So that's kind of a summary of how the money's laying out.
Okay.
I don't know, I get confused when we start talking RDA, what that really means, what projects are in our RDA and which ones?
Yeah, there is we should get you an RDA map.
But I don't like it.
It's right, so real white up and around that, so that area,
We applied for funding.
by Brill, and then behind,
And north, up the railroad tracks.
I see it that way.
Yeah, but that's just a part of it.
No, that's
That is the whole RDA.
So that's the redevelopment area, and then we have a proposed CDA, commercial development, down behind that we.
Maverick
Maverick
gas
and
station
the-
in partnership with Barwett.
So this is just a
I'm
defined
sorry.
area.
This is the
Park
area,
one.
okay.
And
So the-
specific funds.
Yeah, so the RDA is just a group of people. You guys are the RDA, Redevelopment Agency, but the Economic Development, EDA, is what we have down there that's gonna expire in 2023. And then we have that then we did another little,
Yeah, but
Commercial.
we haven't actually pulled the trigger on that.
no, we haven't pulled the trigger on that one. This one has a trigger.
These are funds that we applied through.
Well, either we've received them through WACOG or they've come through tax increment to be used for,
For these
To that area.
Infrastructure, with property tax, with all those,
yeah, there's a whole,
all
yeah,
the things
mix.
that you can use it for,
A
just in that area.
big chunk of these funds though are that WACOG funding, and again,
But the WACOG thing doesn't have anything to do with the RDA though.
no, it's just funneled through that so that we can
It's in
implement.
That's not the money coming from that, is it?
Some of it's in there, but that's in that middle section
But the WACOG gives us separate money for that.
for those projects. We account for them separately.
Mhm.
The balance we have sitting down here is just from that property tax increment.
So we take the property tax from all those businesses and that property, it's worth nothing, and we say it's gonna be worth something else, and so we take a chunk of it.
Well, and other entities give up a chunk of theirs
So
too to help stimulate the economy.
The Weaver School District in hopes of them someday getting
A
more
return with their property tax.
return on their investment, so, well, because we've improved the property from like agriculture, again, if they're only making $10, and we'll say we're gonna develop this area, and it's gonna be worth $3.7 million. For example, we just did one yesterday, and it won't be coming to us, but it was for that new Amazon place.
Yeah, wow.
And the mosquito has just a little part of that, but that's, by toads,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be a $75 million value. And right now, it's only worth like 1.6 million or something
Wow.
like that. But it's huge. So the mosquito abatement was going to get like $800 from our share over the 15 years, whatever. And now we're gonna have $28,000 or something like that over
Just curious.
the course of this, a 15-year term as well for that. But
What-
just amazing, the Barrett Slater bill, and I think this is the third one they've done, they did the CRV, they did this one, and then another one behind,
What did they do to entice them to come, what type of, so like JD Machinery and stuff, we waive property taxes
I
for,
don't know. And Amazon got none of it because they're already doing it, this is just for infrastructure.
wow.
So Amazon
Well,
did
maybe
not
come already
get any
shop.
incentive from this.
So,
We've got some really hot prospects coming, I'm just
Yeah.
We
saying.
do.
isn't some of this money, like, we have to spend it or we will lose it, right?
No.
I thought we did.
I thought we were gonna spend some on a railroad crossing, like down by Stone's Meats or something. Is that part of the RDA?
That's a consideration right now, but there's been no final determination.
I thought we had a certain amount of time we had to spend this money.
No, we don't. We asked that Randy Sant when he came, was just like, well, when do we get, there is none. If they know that we're doing some projects and stuff, we'll just keep,
You have to show that you're doing something.
yeah, the tax money that's coming in is gonna stop, but we have this money, but we can still keep working on these projects.
Oh, good, that's good.
So we don't have to give it back or anything.
But our cut, like we're paying back to these.
Our cut
and
stopped.
Stuff like that, we don't have.
No, that'll stop.
That'll stop, but we have extended that for 2 more years as well, right? Their payments to them.
I think it was.
I think we have. Yeah, Western State Rebar, they had a cap on theirs,
Yeah, but that was like 3 or 4 years ago.
but JD Machine, we'll have to look at their contract.
So what,
They're good.
hang on, clarify that for me, so JD Machine has been paying in for so many years?
We give them a tax incentive for coming in.
We're not, we're
So
not.
we would pay so much based on this tier, how many jobs they would bring in, and how much, property they had, and
So we've been
the
paying
formula.
them a check out of that money
Yeah.
Okay.
each year that they are successful.
like a thanks to
In
come.
hopes that the return will be good when that deal ends and.
And it has, because they brought in sales tax revenue.
And that in turn entices them to be here and bring
And
other
produce
businesses.
other things here.
Cool.
It's been a good. Okay, I didn't.
Mayor, what do we need to do? Tentatively adopt it?
Entertain a motion to adopt the tentative budget for the redevelopment agency for 2021-22.
I'll make that motion.
Second that motion.
Okay, motion by Gibson, second by Uri. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Can we set the same date?
Yep.
Set the same date as June 8th
June 8th.
for item number 3.
I'll make that motion, Mayor, to set a public hearing to consider the budget, June 8th.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Motion by Gibson, second by Marriott. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. June 8th it will be. Okay, I would entertain the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Arrington, second by Uri. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good job, Mayor.
So adjourned.
I know, good
You
job.
made it.
I'm so proud of you.
You get a silver star on your forehead.
You got a crazy night with the budget.